they say, when you speak to 7th graders, you speak to them like you speak to adults, and you do anyway, right? Because you guys understand more about what's going on than I do. So, as I say sometimes when I like speak at a Rotary or a Chamber of Commerce, I'll say, hello, I'm Peter Simmons, but if I say it the right way, I'm Peta. Peta from New Hampshire, right? Because we kind of drop our R's, right? And if you're from New Hampshire, which I am, the smart kids, they go to Dartmouth, okay? But for the rest of us, there's University of New Hampshire. So, born and raised in New Hampshire and very proud of that. And then I took a 6-month job in 1996 in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I never meant to leave New Hampshire, but haven't lived there full-time since 1996. Moved to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and my father-in-law and my dad both bought places a few years apart in Southwest Florida. So we started visiting in the late 1990s and coming down more in the 2000s, and bought a house in 2009 in Bonita Springs, and had met a gentleman from our first neighborhood in Vanderbilt Lakes by the name of Stephen Schlachten. I don't know if any of you know that name, but he played football for Syracuse a long time ago with Larry Zonka. Ask your dads if they know who Larry Zonka is, that played for the Miami Dolphins. And they were both, their fathers were very close. And he and I became very close. Well, we bought a different house in Bonita Springs in a different part of town, and moved into a district where there was an opening for city council. The District 4 councilman had announced that he wasn't going to run. I said, Steve, I just moved to town. What do you mean run for office? He goes, I think you're perfect. So in 2012, I ran for city council, and I knocked on 4,000 doors and ran a very aggressive race and won. And then there was an opening because of term limits in 2016 by our former mayor, Ben Nelson, so he could not run again. There was an opening, there was an illness because one candidate decided that he couldn't run, and then I knocked on 10,000 doors. So once I got elected to the position, and what it is we are what they would call a weak mayor form of government, where we have a city manager who is Arlene Hunter, an assistant city manager. They run the day-to-day operation around here. Now, do I hear about the day-to-day operation? Yes. But to their credit, generally only when there's an issue that I need, that there's a problem, or where, we let them do their jobs and they do our job, and it's a great family and a great team. 2 of our children went to your school, Elizabeth Simmons and Peter Simmons. I don't know, Petey Simmons. He is now a junior at Bishop Faroe High School, and our daughter is a freshman at Florida State University. When we were getting ready for high school down here, we didn't have Bonita Springs High School, so that wasn't an option at all for our daughter, and it opened a year after my son started high school. So it's a great thing. We obviously, when we moved down here in 2009, our daughter started Bonita Springs Charter School in 3rd grade. And our son started in 1st grade. So we think very highly of your school. I know you and your parents care deeply about your education, and that's why you're at the charter school. We always used to say getting dressed in the morning was easy because you knew what you were going to wear. We had a couple of shirts, but it keeps everybody at the same level. Everybody's dressed alike. There's a lot of please and thank yous. There's a lot of courtesy. There's a lot of respect for our country and the American flag. And you guys, and girls, are setting up right now for the rest of your life, because you're going to look at where you want to go to high school, and sooner than you think you're going to be looking at where you want to go to college and what you want to do with the rest of your life. And our family always took community service very serious. If you can think back to 1967, I know that's a long time ago, 52 years ago, right? Almost 53. That's when I was born. When I was a year and a half old, my dad got drafted and went to Vietnam. My dad came back in October of '69, a year later, and we had my little brother Johnny in January of '71. In January of '72, my father, freshly back from Vietnam, ran for the New Hampshire State House of Representatives and won a seat, and in 1974 was appointed by a new governor of New Hampshire to be head of the Fish and Game and Wildlife Service in New Hampshire. My brother, when he was in law school in Concord, New Hampshire, was also a New Hampshire state rep for our hometown in one other town. It was in the House Majority Leader's office So it's like, okay, all this community service in the family, we take it very, very, and obviously I signed up for the military on my 18th birthday, but was never drafted. I was kind of, I guess, in between what they would call peace times, so there were never wars or conflicts in our country when I was growing up. And this is a great way for community service, to give back not only to the city that we love, the state that we love, but the country that we love. And as you grow and as you decide what you want to do, some of you will want to get involved in community service, and there's a lot of different ways to get involved. There's certainly a lot of help and support here for students, anything that we can do, or an internship that you might be looking at, or whatever it may be. And I just want to applaud you for being here, for taking your education seriously. And every now and then, just bite your tongue when mom and dad are telling you to do something, because they're doing it because they've been through it, they've done it. It might sound corny, or it might be like, oh mom, or oh dad, but your parents love you, and I know you know that. But listen to them, make wise decisions, work hard, play hard, as we say. But when you're playing, be careful, and just remember that you've got your whole life ahead of you. Get involved with your community, work with your friends and your family, and just know that everybody's very proud of what you're doing, and good luck in the future.
Yeah. We are both assigned to the Bonita Springs Community Policing Team. So, as the mayor said, the city of Bonita, their government system, they want to stay kind of light, is what I constantly hear, and so that means they don't want a lot of overhead costs. So one of the things that the city of Bonita did many years ago was to go to the sheriff's office, which is responsible for law enforcement for the entire Lee County, and came up with a contract and a deal to have extra police patrols in the city of Bonita done by the sheriff's office. So we have, it's usually between 13 and 16 deputies, depending on transfers and moves, but averages are probably around 15 deputies that are assigned to the city of Bonita Springs. We have 2 sergeants and the rest deputies, and we focus on the issues that the city of Bonita decides they want to enforce or correct or help move along within the city limits. So my job is I run a shift of guys, and we mainly work during the daytime hours. My counterpart is Sergeant Margrander, and he works to handle issues that may happen during the evening and morning hours, early morning hours. Because Bonita is such a nice community to work in, it's really a great place to work as a police officer. Our main job is focused on traffic control or some community events, keeping those safe. We work a lot with the different schools. I know you guys have Deputy Tallarico at your school, so I've known Deputy Tallarico for a long time, and I'm sure you've probably seen me or Deputy Wapia over there just checking out your school. But we also go to the other schools here in the city, and it's really our primary focus with our deputies is to ensure that the city of Bonita's needs when it comes to law enforcement or public safety are handled, and we have a really good working relationship with the city council, the mayor, and the staff from the city. So again, I don't want to draw this out for that long a time, and we'll be here throughout the day for you guys to ask questions too. It doesn't have to be related to just Bonita. You can ask us anything, and I really would recommend that when they ask you who you want to shadow today, Deputy Miguel and I will be happy to. We'll be glad to. We'll give you some inside tricks and see if we can maybe get a free card for your first time you get pulled over when you turn 16. Okay. So thank you, and it's very exciting to see young people that are engaged and involved, and I'm very happy to answer any questions, and Deputy Miguel the same way. So yep. Thank you. I think we have the fire department.
7 stations throughout Bonita Springs. We've seen fire engines, ladder trucks, we have a boat, we have actually 2 boats. We have a special operations unit, which is our big squad. So we are a all-hazard fire department. And do you guys know what that means? Anybody? No? We pretty much handle anything. So any emergencies that come across, we're supposed to be the ones that come and handle it. And we're supposed to be the experts, which we are. So we handle not just fires, We handle vehicle accidents. I'm sure you've heard of the Jaws of Life, right? Water rescues. We do confined space, rope rescue, hazardous material calls, and the majority of us are also paramedics. So we are the ones that can administer medications, we can intubate or tube people that aren't breathing. We handle all that stuff. So anytime you guys have any emergencies, or there's an emergency at the school, I'm sure you've seen us come in with our fire engines, right? Any fire alarms lately? No? No? Okay, that's good. I don't think we've run there lately. So, but we'll be there. And the reason we have 7 stations throughout our district is that our goal is to get there quick. So we want to get there within 6 minutes of whenever we get the call across the tones. And the reason for that is not only because fires, when they go quick. So we need to get there quick to get the water on it. But for medical emergencies, if we have a cardiac arrest, someone not breathing, time is of the essence, right? So I don't know, have any of you done CPR? Taken any CPR classes, right? So you guys all know bystander CPR is extremely important. The majority of all our saves, when we do save people, is because someone has helped someone on the ground and started CPR. So if you haven't taken it, take it. And we can do it for you over there.
So my daughter Mara Hunter just graduated last year. She's a freshman this year at Bonita Springs High School. And some of you might have seen her dad, Corporal Hunter, there quite a bit, hanging around with you guys. So this September, I will be with the city for 15 years. I was 12 when I started here. I started as a special events and park coordinator. From there, I became the director of development services. So I started working with businesses and helping with economic development and zoning and planning and where parking lots will go and how you can get in and out of a driveway. And from there, then I started to be the assistant city manager, which I learned a lot of all new things, and I got to work with our sergeants and deputies in the back, and got to work with the fire department, got to work more with the mayor, and the mayor and I got to spend all of Hurricane Irma in the fire district, camped out with air beds and air mattresses and lots of news coverage, and dealing with a lot of important issues with a lot of the flooding and concerns that happen there, and reaching out to people and trying to help them as best we can. And then about a year and a half ago, I had an opportunity to move up to be city manager. So I know you guys all love Bonita Springs, and we're hoping you're going to get a great education at either Bonita Springs High School and move up, and then go to FGCU or Florida State. Not this one. or other, and then come back to Bonita Springs and continue your career here, because we've got lots of opportunities here. And part of the new slogan, we're gateway to the Gulf, which is we are the shortest distance from I-75 to the beach in all of Southwest Florida. So you get to be proud of that in your hometown. But also, we have a big, bright future. So our hopes is that we can inspire all of our families to continue here and to continue having a wonderful community here that you all keep coming back to. So we're happy you're here today. I remember my first government day in 7th grade, and I still remember going through, and then I remember in high school getting to shadow for the day. So it was some important time, and hope you guys can gather everything in and remember everything, and also enjoy the day away from school for a little bit. So.
I started as the HR clerk, the human resources clerk. I moved into the human resources manager, and now I'm in the director of administrative services role. So a lot of the directors you're going to meet, you'll see on TV, you'll see in the council meetings. I'm kind of more in the background because I handle the background. I handle the city facilities, so this building here, if we have any issues, any problems, we're getting ready to go into a remodel, hopefully, possibly, we redo the air conditioning system. I handle all the insurance, the health insurance, the property insurance, the liability insurance. So if someone is at one of Laura's events in the park and they trip and fall over something that we have and hurt themselves, they come through me to get their claim taken care of, and we handle that. I handle the Americans with Disability Act. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Americans with Disability Act? So we have certain requirements that we have to fulfill to make sure anybody that's disabled has access to everything that we provide throughout the city. Employment, services, access in the buildings. So I make sure that we take care of that. And then the bigger, my probably largest is human resources. So I pay the employees, I help hire the employees, I get the employees' benefits, and the not so fun side of it is I do the discipline of the employees. So I don't know, I have actually 2 kids at the charter school too. I have a 4th and a 1st grader. And I don't know, who is your disciplinarian at school right now? Who's the assistant? Mrs. Coons. So that's unfortunately sometimes my job. If you guys get in trouble at school, you end up in Mrs. Coons' office. If employees get in trouble here, they end up in my office or the city manager's office with me in there with them. So that's the not so fun part of my job. But the human resources are really fun. Seeing all the employees, most of our employees have been here 5, 10, 15. Debbie will be here 20 years this summer. She's our longest term employee. So if you have any questions of any of that, just let me know.
I'm the city clerk, and I'm actually the one that prepares the city agendas and helps with the packets and process them, make sure that the city council gets the packets for their meetings. I do the roll call and handle all the documents and process them after the meetings, the resolutions, the contracts, the ordinances. I do all the legal advertising that you see in the paper. People that want to run for office would come to see me and fill out all the qualifying paperwork. Maintain the city seal. Contracts need to be sealed to show the city of Bonita Springs seal on there. Record city documents, make sure they're all posted on the website, and process documents and help the council when they have any requests when they need something. And that's a few of my duties.
Good morning. I'm Matt. I started at the city about 7 years ago as a public works director. About a year and a half ago, I also had an opportunity to move up and become the assistant city manager. Primarily in the public works realm, what does that mean? We build roads. If you remember what Old 41 used to look like a few years ago, we did a very large, over $20 million project to make new sidewalks, to reconstruct the roadway and make it a better place for people to walk and drive and enjoy Bonita. We also do stormwater, which is rainwater that lands on the streets. We treat it so that it doesn't have pollutants in it when it goes into the Imperial River or Spring Creek, so it makes for a better Estero Bay. We do a lot of those type projects. We call them water quality, but basically what we're trying to do is improve how the water is before it leaves the built environment, where we all live, and goes into the natural systems and makes it a better place for fish and wildlife to live. After Hurricane Irma, does anyone remember the garbage that was on the streets? That also fell within the realm of public works, so we got to work through picking up all of that storm debris and getting it off the streets in a safe manner quickly so that people could return to a more normal life. The big things that we have going on, if anyone lives or if your parents ever take you out east of Bonita, east of I-75, you'll see a new roadway that's being built, the big roundabout. There's trees going in right now. That's one of our big projects. West Terry Street, we're building a big pathway. Right now it's under construction, so bear with us, but it'll be a nice project. We also do landscaping, which is probably one of our more contentious things.
I am the Parks and Recreation Director. I have been here just 12 years in January, so this month, 12 years. I did start out as the Recreation Center Supervisor, so my main job was just running the Recreation Center that we have here in the city. Then I moved up to Recreation Manager, and now I'm the Parks and Recreation Director. Do any of you know how many parks we have in Bonita? We actually have 21, which is surprising. So we do have 21 parks throughout the city that is under my management. Of course, I have staff that run those facilities. We have park maintenance staff, we have recreation center staff. If you've ever been to the pool that's next to the middle school, that's the city community pool for the community. We have baseball fields, we have soccer fields, so we have lots of different facilities. I guess we're what's called the fun department, because we have all the fun. So we get to do all the fun stuff, and we leave the more government stuff to everyone else. So, just kidding, no. But we do, it is fun. We do have summer camps and basketball and games and fun, so we do have a lot of fun in our department, and if you ever get a chance, come out and visit us. Laura's staff does put on all of the events at Riverside.
You like math? A little bit, numbers, okay. Finance deals a lot with numbers, and we handle all the financial transactions for the city. We pay all the invoices, they all come through our office, have a staff of 5. We make sure the deposits make it to the bank, we reconcile all our accounts. We have 2 big publications that we put out, we prepare annually. One is the comprehensive annual financial report. That's after our audit is completed, we provide this comprehensive document that tells all about the finances of the city. And then the other larger document is the annual budget. And that has a lot of details. So if you really do like numbers, you need to take a look at our annual budget. But that guides the city throughout the year, putting money in place for each department and each function. And then each one of the directors that you just heard from monitor that budget and make sure that they stay within that budget, or determine the availability of other resources. So that's a big function for our department. But really, like half the year is dealt with getting our year-end closed and getting our audits complete, and then the second half of the year is dealing with budgets. Matt mentioned about Hurricane Irma, so he was in charge of getting all that stuff off the streets. We were in charge of paying all those invoices and then dealing with FEMA to get reimbursement. So that's been a very large project for us the last 2 years within the fund.
We kind of met our principal, we met our assistant principal, we met our math teachers and our science teachers. We're arts and crafts, no. Yes, we kind of are actually. So we're kind of like science meets history meets arts and crafts. So what does my team and my department do? We kind of tell the citizens in the city how to build and grow and develop. So do you want to build a new house? Do you want to open a business? Where can you put your restaurant? Where could you put your new community? It's kind of our job to give that guidance to the city, to the community, and to kind of help folks learn what they can and can't do. So how many of you guys live in the city? How many of your moms and dads are involved in construction, maybe? Okay, so we probably deal with them quite a bit if they do things in the city. So they would come to us to get approval from us and from the city to build things, to construct, to grow and develop. And really our goal is to give those kind of guidance. We also kind of the record keepers to some degree of the city's history in terms of what rules and regulations we have for growing and developing and how we can change them and evolve them to kind of grow up and develop. So a lot of things you guys are doing now, you're not going to act or feel or do things the same way in 10, 15 years.
It's code enforcement, essentially, and some permitting. So, like Sean was just explaining, there are rules and regulations to follow. When people don't follow them, they'll get usually a visit from one of my officers who goes out and does it. We work on the premise of compliance, so we try to get people to comply with this as opposed to taking them down an actual enforcement route. That's what we call enabling services. So.
my name is Kevin Berkowitz. I teach 7th grade civics at Bonita Springs Charter School. Today we're here at Bonita Springs City Hall for an amazing field trip called Civics Day or Government Day, and the students get to really experience what local government does, what it's all about. They first start off by meeting some of the staff members and the city council, and the mayor himself opened up today with a nice speech to motivate them. It's really great for them to make a personal connection with government and really see the people that are involved and get a sense of what they do. And now we're at the part of the day where they get to sit in their shoes, or sit in their seats rather. They're sitting at the city council seats and the mayor's seat, and they get to have a mock city council session. The kids absolutely love doing these mock sort of meetings. We do mock city court sessions in class and elections and things like that, and they love this role playing. So for them to have that interactive experience, not only are they having fun, but they're actually learning a lot too. So again, to really understand what their local government does is an amazing thing that they're going to take home with them today.
I call a meeting to order. Now, if you could all please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Councilman Madam. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Escaping issues first, so feel free to do public comment or come up as yourselves.
We've got something to talk about. We'll find something.
Roll call, please.
District 1.
Here.
District 2. Here. District 3.
Here.
There.
Present.
District 4. Here. District 5.
Here.
District 6. Here.
Okay. First item on the agenda is a discussion about landscaping on Burnwood Drive. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment?
I think.
What's your name?
Oh, hi. I'm Ava Brasington. I'm from Bonita Springs, Florida. And I think landscaping.
I disagree.
No.
I think. Oh, it's my first time. I think the landscaping of Burnwood Drive is too time consuming, okay? I think that we should be spending our money on the turtles. You know, there's pollution going on, and everyone wants to, you know, put trees in front of schools. And these poor turtles are dying, like they're eating plastic, and we should be, you know, doing beach cleanups and stuff like that instead of putting trees in front of schools. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michelle Sneed, and I'm from Bonita Springs, Florida, and I'm for landscaping of Burnwood Drive. It's good for the students and the staff members of Burnwood Drive, and it'd definitely be very pretty to see and a nice image. Trees. It looked very pretty with trees and colorful flowers in front of Burnwood Drive, and I think everyone would enjoy it. Yep.
You guys going up on this one? You're doing a different one?
Are there any more members of the public?
No.
If they call you up, only tell them to call you up. The police are gonna have that next call them up afterwards.
I'd like to bring it up for council discussion.
Mayor, I have a comment. All right. I don't know what you're talking about with this whole tree situation. Because trees are how we breathe. We need trees.
City manager, could you please give us a synopsis of this?
I'm going to defer to the assistant manager.
I would like to call up our I would like to call up our public works director. Hey. Hello, my name is Matt. Hello, my name is Matt Feeney, Assistant City Manager, Public Works Director. We had some requests for discussing landscaping of Burnwood Drive. Any questions? I'm here for any questions.
Council, do you have any questions?
What construction team is gonna do this?
Well, if council authorizes us, we would have to go out for bids.
How would this benefit us?
Beautifying roadways is one of our priorities.
Where would you get the money from?
City council or defer to the city manager.
Defer the city manager. City council has budgeted this item for your current fiscal year.
Mr. Mayor, what is the annual maintenance fee?
What is the annual maintenance fee?
The projected budgeted total cost of this project would be $12,000 annually.
How many years? How many years? Forever.
District 5, any comments?
Will there be any roadways closed down?
There is potential of road closings for safety potentials of the workers.
When will be the dates of this?
First, council has to tell us if they want us to proceed, then we would have to go out for bids.
First, council
Would have to tell us.
First, council would have to tell us if they would like to proceed. Then we would have to go out for bids.
I motion to move this project forward.
Would you guys like to discuss it further?
What is climate appropriate irrigation mean?
We will have an expert come back and explain that to you.
We will have an expert come back and explain this to you once.
What's the expert Someone, if they haven't been selected yet, we have to go out and bid.
They haven't been selected yet, we will have to go out for bids. Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. We have comments from the county sheriff's office.
Mayor, City Council, as it relates to this area of your city, we have significant traffic issues when it comes to dismissal of school. Therefore, I would just like to remind you, when you give your guidance to staff, if you approve this project, that they need to be thinking about how this, not only the construction process is going to affect the already bad traffic situation you have there, but also in the future, any trees or bushes that may obstruct the visual that would cause a safety hazard amongst the students and the staff and the family that are coming and going from that school. So I just want to make sure that that is put out and that direction is given to staff if you decide to move forward on this project. Do you have any more questions for me?
Staff, can you take that into consideration? Council, any more discussions?
How many trees would you say you plant?
That would be determined once we put the bid out. That would be determined once we put the bid out.
We will ask for recommendations from our expert landscape designers.
We will ask for recommendations from our landscape designers.
As long as it's within budget.
As long as it's within budget.
Are there any legal issues with this project?
Defer to the city attorney.
If we support Team Tree, we can give 12,000, plant 12,000 trees. Using that
Yes. Should council want to do that? We can certainly look into it.
If council wants to do that, we can certainly look into it.
What size trees would you be planting?
Again, we would refer to expert landscape designers to make recommendations to us.
Again, we would refer to landscape designers to make recommendations for us.
Will you have flowers?
If that is council's direction.
If that is council's direction.
Excuse me, Mayor.
We'd like to address a legal question.
Mayor, there's no problems with any legal problems because of you're allowed to cash them out. And also, we need a second round of motion before you guys vote.
Will this be a safety hazard for civilians?
We don't think so. We would certainly work with our sheriff's office and our expert designers to be sure.
We don't think so. We would certainly work with our sheriff's designers.
Our sheriff's office?
And our sheriff's office and
to be sure.
To be sure.
What will be the time of day for the construction?
Very good. We will be able to determine all the details once we have selected a company that will be doing the work.
We will be able to determine all the details once we have selected
the company
to do the work.
Today we're just looking for direction.
Today we're just looking for direction
to see if council would like to pursue this.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. Consistent with the other projects. Consistent with the other projects we do. We would do this with the least impact. We would do this with the least impact to the traffic. The traffic.
Any more comments?
Yeah. Where will you be putting the additional fundings from the project?
So right now, this is not budgeted.
So right now, this is not budgeted.
But we would need to receive funds from our contingency account.
But we will be looking for funds from our contingency account.
And we'll defer to the city manager on that.
And we will defer to the city manager for that.
What will be the timeline goal? A year?
Say again?
Like, trying to do it in a year? Like, plant all the trees in a year?
We will do this as efficiently as possible.
We will do this as efficiently as possible.
We'll bring back timelines.
We will bring back timelines
once we've selected the company.
Once we have selected the company.
Can we apply for a grant?
City manager. We will explore grant opportunities, see if funding is available.
Has Bonita Springs Charter School accepted that you will be planting trees on their property?
They are the ones that brought us forward and the request.
They were the ones that brought this forward with the request.
I think we beat this dead horse if council approves this. I'd like to entertain a motion.
He already made a motion.
Yes.
So we need a second.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Please restate the motion.
I motion to move this progress forward.
Not me.
Roll call.
Okay, we call for
District 2? Yes. District 3?
Yeah, sure.
Fair.
I do not approve.
District 4? No. District 5? Too much money. District 6?
Nope.
Yeah.
So the motion failed.
Motion fails.
Okay, great.
Alright, so when I first came in here, I didn't think I was going to learn anything. I was wrong. Learned a lot. Learned a bunch. So what I came in here and I didn't know was that there was multiple districts in Bonita. I thought it was just like everyone in this building was like one whole district. But I was wrong. It was 6 individual districts and 6 individual people like are in charge of that district. So that's something I found cool. And all those 6 districts people are part of the council, which was pretty interesting. I didn't know. I got to be one of those people. Interesting. Ooh, that job's painful. The mayor charges a lot of things. Didn't know. Had a tyrant up here. Not letting me speak, so understand. Yeah. I think that's all for today. Thank you. Moving on to the semifinals of AGT. Bye.
Before I came here, I thought these people's jobs were easy, and that I could do it. But it turns out that like one person is tackling so much, like planning and media, and news conferences and all that, and it's not as easy as I thought. And I have much respect for these people and for what they do.
I knew that. One thing I want to get out of the way is that, like, I got good grades that, because I knew there's gonna be food here, and I was hungry. That's besides the point. I learned quite a lot more than I thought I knew. Like, I didn't know this existed right here. The city manager and all that, the city attorney, and then I knew their districts, just didn't know how much there were and how they were arranged. That's about it. Pretty cool place. So,
I always thought, like, you know, because media and all those people, they make government sound really corrupt, like everyone hates each other. And, like, you know, that, like, the mayor, like, the main guy, thought it was, like, you know, always make them seem like bad people, but y'all are pretty chill, not gonna lie. I'll hang with you guys again, and yeah, I learned that government isn't really that screwed up.
Hi. I learned how the council works, and I thought that chair was bigger than the other ones. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I learned. Yeah. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know about, especially with all the staff and council members' jobs. I definitely didn't know what those were about because I didn't really pay attention much to it. I definitely learned now of what kind of nonsense that can go on in this room, but that's mainly because of us, of course. So today was also very fun. I'd say that I loved learning everything here and everyone else's jobs.
I learned that there are like 15 million different more jobs than I thought there were here. I thought there was like the mayor and like city council people, and like that was it. I also learned how they run the meetings.
Before I came in here, I didn't really know that there were so many like other people working together, like all the districts. So it's kind of cool to see how all of them, like, I guess, work together to get something done.
So some stuff I learned today was how much of a rant that some stuff can go on in here, and how weird it could become, just like the last thing we did. And I also learned that a lot of pictures in here are not straight. People cannot keep them straight.
I learned that some people are very opinionated, and I also learned that you kind of have to be patient during this city council thing. I thought it was just, I don't know. I thought it was easier, but it's not. And there's a lot of things that they tell you to say that I've never heard of.
I learned that there are multiple jobs in here, and I have no idea what most of them are still, but yeah.
Before I came here, I thought like they were all different districts, and I realized that they all work together to kind of make like one big civilization in one.
I learned the importance of each council member and what they do for the city of Bonita. I learned that it's very difficult to be a council or a mayor, and I always thought that it's an easy job, but it's not, and working together makes a whole lot of things.
I learned that these meetings can be very annoying, frustrating, and that's all I want to say is that I'm shocked that the mayor has not lost his hair yet.
I learned that there's a lot of different opinions that go around this room, and I didn't know that all the different districts could be so close together and work together like they do. There's a lot of different jobs for it, and yeah.
Today I learned that there aren't just districts, but there's more jobs such as assistant city manager and a city attorney.
I learned just that there's 6 districts. I didn't know that. But I also learned that there's a lot more jobs than I thought there were, and I kind of thought that every job was like individual, when I kind of see how some of them overlap and they all kind of work together to kind of make what we have, so it's cool.
So today I learned that there are a lot more branches within the city council than I think the majority of the public knows about. And I also learned that there are assistants of assistants of assistants, and the public can express opinions, to say the least.
Before I came here, I thought that everyone that sat here was in charge of the same thing, but in reality, they're in charge of like something completely different. But in some way, they still work together to help the community.
So when I came here, I learned how important these meetings are, and how all these people work together to complete Bonita as a whole, and to keep the people of Bonita safe.
I learned that these projects have to get through a lot of people to work out.
I learned that there are many more jobs than I thought, and they're important.
I learned that there's a
lot more jobs than I thought, and how unaware I was to how much extra work they have to do.
I learned about the different jobs, and everyone has to work together to make it work out. I learned so much more, I learned a lot more about Bonita Springs than I thought, I knew. And I also learned that turtles are way more important than landscaping in here. So,